We begin the show today with news from the labor unions and their reaction to the latest development in the telecommunications industry. The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has suspended its planned nationwide protest against the recent 50% hike in telecoms tariffs approved by the federal government. The union aborted the planned rally scheduled for today following a meeting with government representatives in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation in Abuja yesterday. The NLC President, Joe Ajero, said the government had agreed to set up a larger committee to review the entire tariff structure. According to him, the committee will be composed of 5 representatives from both sides and is expected to submit its findings within 2 weeks. So, BK, let's begin the conversation this way. The NLC has suspended the nationwide protest. They gave reasons. But is the NLC losing its relevance?
No, it's not. It is their responsibility to get the best bargain for workers. And traditionally, NLC fights for the masses, not just the less than 6 million workers who are its members. So, from time immemorial, the NLC has been seen to fight for the generality of our people, not the oppressors, not the people in government. So, it is not a bad idea for the NLC to go on strike. What is bad is believing that it has to go on strike on virtually every issue. Sometimes you allow for dialogue to take place, and when the resolution of the matter becomes inevitable, that is when you use the strike card. The strike card should always be the last resort. Sometimes the NLC does not wait, because as far as it's concerned, strike is the only language that the employers of labor understand. So, but I don't think that you should always think of strike in the first instance. You ought to look at other steps that you can take beyond simply ordering workers to go on strike. It shouldn't be everything that will lead to a strike. And as you can see, even NATCOM, which is the umbrella body of telephone subscribers in our country, they were opposed to the idea of a strike. They felt that, look, there should be continued negotiation and all that. They are proposing a 10% increase in tariff. I don't think anyone who rejects the tariff in its entirety is reasonable. 2013 was the last time that the telcos increased tariff. So, and we've seen a lot by way of inflation since that time. So it is legitimate for them to want to increase tariff. But as I said yesterday, whether 50% was the best percentage that they could come up with is what many Nigerians would disagree with. So I think that most reasonable Nigerians will agree that there's nothing wrong in increasing tariffs, since they had not increased it since 2013. But going all the way to 50%, a lot of people may not agree with that, given what we've been going through in the country lately, petrol prices, energy costs going up, and inflation running rampant. So NLC would want to get the best bargain for the people, and if they can get this lashed down from 50% to maybe 30%, they will be seen to have achieved something. So I believe that the NLC is still relevant, but I do not agree to the idea of going on strike in the first instance.
In the first
yes,
instance.
yeah.
Anyway, what happens after, you know, the committee, you know, has reviewed all the relevant issues concerning the tariff? What now happens? Will there be another issue of protest? I mean, what kind of outcome should the Labour expect?
Well, in the first instance, I think the telecoms industry is a very critical sector. We have more than 200 million subscribers in the country. So it's a sector that whatever it does will affect almost everybody in this country. It shows its importance. And this is a sector that countries that, you know, rakes in no less than, you know, 5 trillion every year. It's a very important sector that whatever is done in that area, and I think
it's bigger than the banking sector put together.
Yes, we are talking about no fewer than 16,000 workers in the telecoms industry. So I think it's a sector that affects everybody, every household in Nigeria, whether you are poor, whether you are. So whatever is happening in that place should be of concern to all of us. I think we have to look at this thing from both sides. In the first instance, Nigerians are tired of the strain, the social strain they are passing through, the economic strain. You know, taxes, people losing their jobs, poor service from electricity, from all sort of, you know. So, and also the kind of perception people have inherited over the years about government. That look, government is just there to increase and all that. But I think we should also realize that the increase in fuel, you know, inflation, you know, it also means, you know, increase in cost for services, for service providers. They need to pay more for diesel. They need to pay more for, you know, the minimum wage also affect them. They need to increase their workers' salaries. But I think what is important is transparency on both sides. You know, the labor and then the NCC and then the telecom sector. Because they are saying that they have, you know, NLC has looked at the figures. I feel that the NLC should also be able to do its own research and come out with its own documents when you are engaging the government. It's not when there is increment of 50% and then you just go, okay, we want to go on strike. What are your own figures? Because I know in those days, you know, under Sumonu, under Siroma, the NLC had a very vibrant research department. That they will even come out with its figures to engage the government on a very, you know, based on logic, based on clarity, based on figures,
constructive argument.
You know. So it's when you come with these figures that people will find it, you know, they will be convinced to listen to your argument. And I also feel that when we are talking about 50% increment, I think for most Nigerians it's too sudden. You know, probably if they have started some years back, gradual increment. But when you just bring 50% increase, just like that, you know. But so I believe the NLC should engage these issues and then get its own papers.
Okay,
you know, and
now
then
just in 1 minute so that we'll move straight to our next conversation. I asked MJ yesterday, I asked him that some persons have argued that instead of NLC channeling their anger at the telcos, why not channel it at the government? Because of the reasons these telcos are to increase their tariff.
Well, I think the NLC is, you know, engaging both the government and then the telecommunication companies because they've, you know, raised. If you look at their, you know, their position, they are challenging the government and also the telecommunication companies. So I think it should be a dual engagement. You know, at the end of the day, I hope that these committees will be able to come out with a position that will lead to at least reasonable reduction. You know, in the.
All right then. All right, let's move straight to our next